Welcome everyone to a great showdown between myself as Kislev going up against a Rubber Duck of War and Tzeentch. Now we're going to be playing on the Darkland Crater, which isn't quite the map that Ducky thought, but still nonetheless a rather good one indeed. A little bit out of my favour. I have quite a few ranged troops on the battlefield, so a couple of heals here being a little bit of a nuisance for line of sight. However, for Ducky coming of course with the double ducks, we are going to have the Lord of Change with a bit of a change here. He's going to have one use of the blue fire of Tzeentch and then one use of the pink fire. Now of course these don't cost any Winds of Magic, but they have a 1 max use. Now if you do come with Tzeentch in Magic before with the Lord of Change and then a normal Exalted Lord, you could spam blue fire and pretty much destroy any single entity on the battlefield. Now of course with only one use is a bit of a buff because it doesn't cost any Winds of Magic, but it's also a nerf so you can't keep spamming it and just basically destroy anything that's large. So we're going to have Karyos Fateweaver in the front, the man, the myth, the legend with the double heads. He's going to be having the Greater Arcane Conduit with that spell mastery, as well as the Fires of Change, the Life Leeching, which is a very, very powerful passive indeed, with the Blue Fires of Tzeentch, the Penumbral Pendulum, Regrowth, as well as the Staff of Tomorrow, the Scroll of Destiny, Void Pendulum, the Gaze of Fate, and then also Oracle of Eternity. On the floor, we are going to have Forsaken, so 2 units here on the battlefield, a few units of Blue Horror, so 3 in total, and this, which I did not expect, we are going to have the Soul Grinder of Tzeentch. Now, I didn't go with any artillery pieces, but anti-large and then also armor piercing for the missiles is going to be very good up against my Lord choices if they come on polar bears. Good armor piercing, weapon strength and melee combat, a decent armor as well, so we can shrug off most of the cheap missiles coming from Kislev. And then in the back, we are going to have the Regiments of Renown, the Blazing Squealers. These bad boys are a nuisance. Now, they do come here, of course, with the Arcane Mirth, which is pretty standard for the Exalted Pink Horrors, but they're also going to have the Conduit of Infinity, which basically replenishes all ammunition for all units in a 55-meter radius, which is incredibly powerful. So you get an extra ammunition, I believe, every 13 seconds. Now, they are going to have Warp Flame with those magical missiles, which are going to be having -10 armor, and then, of course, to weakness to flame damage. So, of course, all of the pink and blue flames here that can fire from the blink and blue horrors do all fire and magic damage. So it's going to be very, very interesting here indeed. 48 melee defense. I did not know that. That is very, very powerful indeed here for the Blazing Squealers. Very, very powerful. So pretty much there's going to be quite an elite force here coming from Ducky. It's going to be 800 to him, 1,220 for me. I went with a bit of an interesting force. We went with the Armored Corsairs in the front. Of course, they have the silver shields. I expected a massive blue force, so I wanted to come here with these black and yellow shields and really try and see if I can negate a lot of the incoming damage. For the Regiments of Renown, we are going to have the fantastic Hearth blades. Now, these bad boys, I don't know if you can see those blades, they crackle. If we get a little slow motion, you see they crackle as they go. They look absolutely fantastic. They are going to be having fire resistance, which is quite good here. And then they're also going to have the Song of Winter Sunlight, which I didn't manage to use in the battlefield. But anti-infantry, armor piercing, flaming attacks as well with 90 armor is going to be quite nice throughout the battlefield. So the Ice Witch on a polar bear. She's going to be here with the Arcane Conduit, as well as the Iron Ice armor. And then also the Lore passive of the Frost Shield. I brought it because it's going to add armor, and then also missile block is quite nice, as I expected a wide front line here from Ducky. We are going to have the Heart of Winter, as well as the Frost Blades, which will actually give that magical attacks, which can be quite nice here up against all of the demon factions. The Ice Maiden's Kiss, and then the abilities of the Snowflake Pendant, and the Guardian Call for that Snow Leopard Summon. In the back, 2 units of Streltsy. So accidentally some of them on top of each other. Bit of a mistake there from me. And then we are going to have 4 of the Kossar Spears in the back. For the cavalry, we do have Dervishes. So 2 units on the flanks. I wanted something nice and cheap to get around the flanks and just compromise whenever I need them to. And then 2 units of the Winged Lancers. A little bit more heavily armoured. And they're also going to be having shields. And, they could take, a little bit of brunt of damage. So coming forward, I did make a bit of an early mistake. I forgot that the Soul Grinder, I thought this one was actually the Slaanesh one, which fights in melee combat with anti-large and armor piercing. I forgot it was the shooting one, so I made a humongous mistake there. I tried to use the back brain of my knowledge to go, okay, cool, that's that, and I forgot that it was just sat there sniping my my Ice Witch. So Ducky comes down the line, and I believe there's going to be, it's going to be a blue fire here coming from the Lord of Change. That's going to, try and see if we get on my polar bear. I try to get away. You can see I'm turning here, but the turning speed is of a fridge. This polar bear is not known for its turning circles, I'll give it that much. Penumbral Pendulum down the line of my Streltsy. Ducky's just absolutely ripping apart my force early doors. And here, it's my first game in a while, so especially on Landbattle, so I do lack a little bit of the micro. But we're trying to get forward here, trying to get the Armored Corsairs into position so I can start shooting the front line of the pink and blue horrors. So we are going to have a flame down the line here of the Hearth's Blade, but of course they do have flame resistance. So they're going to be getting forward. They do actually get a fire wind. It's a negative armor for, I think it's about 6 to 8 seconds. And then it's just going to be more and more damage on the Ice Witch. And I didn't recognize this until about halfway through, where I realized, oh my god, she's at half health, and she's getting absolutely smashed by the Soul Grinder. So we're shooting in the front line, actually going to be shooting up against the Forsaken of Tzeentch. A bit of a problem here for me. Blue Horror is going to be firing into the front. We do have those silver shields, so we're negating a lot of those incoming small missiles, but we're also going to be getting shot there by the blazing Squealers. So we're going to be charging forward with a couple of infantry here. Forsaken now going to be meeting the front line. And in the back, we do actually have some Furies. So Fury's going to be compromising actually here up against my Streltsies. They do get in and they start fighting. I was trying to turn and burn here against the majority of the Flyers. But there's just so much here to contest. Shooting into the front, we've really deleted the armor Corsairs here, going down to 70 armor. Look at those mass flames coming forward. We do use By Our Blood here. We are going to get the Lord Choice and then also the Winged Lancers into the back to compromise a lot of these elements. In the back, we are going to use a Heart of Winter. I'm trying to catch a few of these, but he very smartly gets away from it. I did overcast it, but he manages to get out. In the middle, we do have the Ice Witch. She's going to charge into the pocket and start fighting, but she's going to be rather weak at this moment, still getting shot by the Soul Grinder. And then we're going to be fighting with the Winged Lancers in the front, trying to see if we can destroy the Chaos Furies and, kind of compromise a few bits and get around the battlefield here. In the back, we do actually manage to get some of the Dervishes. We also have the Snow Leopard summoned on the battlefield, so I'll try to pin in the Soul Grinder and then use the Snow Leopard with the anti-large and armor piercing to fight here up against the Soul Grinder. Of course, this thing has physical resistance, and we don't actually have magic attacks for the Snow Leopard. I was going to use the Frostblades on it, but I didn't manage to get a chance. I was microing too much on the battlefield. But these bad boys are going to be fighting, and it kind of doesn't really favour either. The summon is going to be quite nice to do some damage, but only kind of really reduce the shield here with the Soul Grinder and a tiny weeny bit of health. We managed to compromise it for a short while, but here, unfortunately, the Lord Choice, I think, is getting chased off by Fate Weaver. So really nice stuff from Ducky. Bannister Power going to be gently pushing into his favour. The Ice Witch is getting away here with the Armored Corsairs. We don't actually get a blue flame, which is pretty much going to kill that. And I believe he tries to finish her off using the faction ability. I believe the second one, the one that has the bombardment, the single bombardment coming down. So I'm shooting here with the Corsairs, trying to just reduce the armor here of Fate Weaver, just trying to do any chip damage I can. Streltsy getting punished here by the Lord of Change. Going to be shooting with just mass archers, trying to really whittle down his health, so those barriers really don't have as much of an effect. Now we do manage to beat back here, I think, some blue horrors with the Hearth blades. In the back, the blazing Squealers. We're going to be pushing forward with the armored Cossars as much as I can, charging in the back with the Dervishes. We're just trying to compromise them as much as I humanly can. With the Duckmeister, he's going to be coming forward with the Soul Grinder here, trying to see if we can fight in melee combat. Get a bit of terror here in the pocket as well, which is going to be incredibly powerful. I believe here he's also going to be having, he has Ward Saber. It looks like we are going to be casting somewhere in the back. And it's like Fate Weaver here is going to be trying to drag down as many Cossars as possible. Furies and Blue Horror is going to be poking into the back. We have broken the Winged Lancers, pushing off with the Forsaken. Nice work there coming from Ducky. We do get a return of the Armoured Corsairs. Corsair Spear is going to be shooting into the middle, and some Streltsy are going to be returning as well. In the front, moving forward with the Armoured Corsairs, really trying to see if we can get around the force here, and we have managed to entrap the Lord of Change, which is quite nice there for me. I was really trying to bring him down. So 4 minutes 30 into the battle, balance of power a little bit more in Ducky's favour. The Dervishes are going to be using By Our Blood for the first time, trying to compromise the Blazing Squealers, but of course they got 48 melee defense, and they're a bit of a nuisance, and that kind of explains to me, during the battle I just remember, oh my god, these things don't die! And of course there's so many of them, 80 of them coming at 48 melee defense is a bit of a nuisance. The Song Grinder here is going to be fighting and kind of slashing and dashing up against a couple of the kind of peasant cavalry, and in the back here we are going to have the Half-Blades fighting alongside Armoured Corsairs and Winged Lancers. I have one in the back pocket here, kind of firing a couple of shots into the Lord of Change. So we have a few more Armoured Corsairs shooting in this one. In the back, By Our Blood going for a couple of models. Furies, they also just did not die, and Ducky had so many kind of issues trying to get these to attack the right things, but he breaks the Streltsy. We're shooting in the front. We've done quite a bit of damage here up against Fate Weaver, and in the back here, the Blue Horror is going to be chasing off the Cossars. So we managed to get the Blazing Squealers to shoot in the front up against the Kozhavite Dervishes, and there we are. They're going to be breaking. They might return here, and the leadership's not looking fantastic. The boys are going to be shooting, and they're going to be replenishing ammunition in the back. And I don't know if that actually counts for the Soul Grinder. I would assume it does, because you can see some of the ammunition coming forward yet again. So it's actually a really nice partnership that I didn't consider at the beginning of the battle. But Winged Lancers do get terrified. Even if you use By Our Blood, you can get terrified. There's going to be another Penumbral Pendulum on the line, and that's just excellent damage. Penumbral Pendulum still proving to be incredibly powerful. In the middle, Fate Weaver is going to be using the Scroll of Destiny and the Staff of Tomorrow. He's also somehow going to get Warp Flame on himself. I imagine just getting shot here, yeah, a bit of friendly fire from the Blazing Squealers. But we do see in the middle here the Armored Corsairs trying to shoot and do as much damage up against Fate Weaver. 3.9k for him. The Soul Grinder ended up being an absolute nuisance. This thing, trying to deal with it was an absolute flipping nightmare. So we are trying to push the Hearth Blades over across. You can see the attack animation. I'm really trying to get into the back of the Squealers, but we also have the Forsaken coming forward. So what I do is I charge the Hearths over here up against the Forsaken, and I believe I have the Cavalry coming in the back here to compromise the Blazing Squealers. In the sky, we are going to have Fate Weaver just floating around, acting all cool, and the Soul Grinder in the pocket, who's now eventually lost his shield. I need to get these Armored Corsairs firing into the pocket. You can see a couple of these just going to be moving. Probably should have got these into a tighter group. The turning circle would have been just a little bit better. A return to the battlefield is going to be some Winged Lancers. We have also 2 units of the Dervishes. I kind of decide to have some Armored Corsairs shoot in the back, but I've kind of given up on these Corsairs. There's no kind of point trying to protect them up against the Blue Horrors. In the middle, the Lord Choice is going to be smashing up against the Dervishes. Just kind of wanted to pin the Lord Choice in place, charge in with some cavalry, kind of ignore the Forsaken, and just get in there and do as much damage as I possibly can up against Fate Weaver. I wanted to get into the point of crumbling, and then I could just solely focus here on the Soul Grinder. In the middle, though, the double armored Corsairs fighting up against the Soul Grinder. He's lost some health, but he's at 6,900. He's looking rather healthy here. Balance of power is going to be shifting. The Blazing Squealers are still looking incredibly powerful. They don't have any ammo yet, but they still got 66 models, 4,000 HP, and I'm going to be running away here with the armored Corsairs. Cavalry's going to be breaking in the backside here. Unfortunately, we don't actually get a return yet again for the second time for the Winged Lancers. Really want to get those returning and fighting here up against the Forsaken. Fighting a little bit long here, but I'm trying to kind of move around my armored Corsairs so we can shoot into the Soul Grinder. And Ducky very smartly is going to be attacking the ones with ammunition, which makes sense. They kind of get terrified and shatter, and there's only going to be one model left here with the armored Corsairs, who are going to be using Blood to fight to the end. And a really, really strong battle coming from Ducky. He does use the triple ability at the end to try and see if he can smash on top of the doors of my Corsair Spears. And yeah, he played this very, very well, I must say. He played this very, very well. We wanted to get a game that had the Blazing Squealers in, and then also the Regiment of Renowned Sarkar, which I'm a big fan of. I really do like them. I'm really struggling to find where they're going to be useful in what matchup. I can certainly see them having some good application, for example, if we brought them to Domination, but in land battles, I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know really what element they offer that is kind of superior. I could see them up against Grand Cathay, but I could also see them getting shot. They don't have any shields. They still got 90 armor. Crossbows will still do some good damage, and you know they're one Plague of Rust away as well from just being deleted rather quickly. You know, they're a phenomenal unit, but they're just incredibly slow. Yeah, it's a tough one really, but I'm a big fan. I think they look absolutely fantastic. I love those crackling swords with the kind of the orange flame idea going on. It looks incredible. So 21 there for the Ice Witch, a bit of a throw there for me, unfortunately. I made a couple of key mistakes early doors, which kind of cost me in the long term. But yeah, really well staffed. You know, the Blazing Squealers coming in at 1.4, 133 kills, so they just about paid for themselves, but I still think they're a very, very powerful model. You get these on Domination or in land battles, and I think they're going to be incredibly strong. The partnership as well here with the Soul Grinder, just giving it infinite more ammo, is incredibly nice. That is incredibly nice. You can also justify maybe 2 Soul Grinders with the Blazing Squealers. You know, in a long game such as Domination, you could really see, you know, certainly a very nice element between those two. So only 750 there for the Hearth Blades. There wasn't really too much to use them in. I really wanted to get both in, so me and Ducky decided to play Kislev against Tzeentch to just see what we could do. I didn't really want to bring Bear Chariots because they brought so much here in the multiplayer scene. I kind of wanted to bring some extra elements and, you know, kind of mix it up a little bit. I also kind of threw the Streltsy, 600 and 300 there for the Winged Lancers, so not too much. 720, 420, 330 and 130 there for the Armored Corsairs. 730, 1200 for the Corsair Spears. Very nice stuff. 540 and 330 with 640 and 0 there for the Dervishes. Yeah, there's a good force. I think it's actually not a bad army. I could have played it better for sure. There's definitely some things I should have thought about selecting and, you know, playing a little bit differently. But 1.9k for Fate Weaver. He's just incredibly strong. Like Penumbral Pendulum, healing as well as Blue Flame. It's just, yeah, he's incredibly powerful. 2,280 there for the Soul Grinder. A really nice pick, I must say. So 940 for the Lord of Change. So not quite paying for himself, but of course you're going to find that a little bit more difficult as you can only use his spells once each. And let's have a look here. 1,002 and 360 for the Forsaken. So one doing really well, the other one a little bit under par. 450 and 650 there for the Fury. So one paying yet again and one under par. 600, 150 and 450 there for the Blue Horror. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please smash that like button. It really does help on the channel. Feel free to leave a comment down below with all your thoughts and opinions, but please do be kind as always. And if you haven't already, do feel free to subscribe. It really does help the growth of the channel, and I'm really going to be trying to do as many domination and as many land battles as I possibly can. But of course, if you'd like me to cast them, I need you to send them in. So if I only get sent domination, I'm pretty much only going to be able to cast domination. And if you only send me in land battles, I'm only really going to be able to cast land battles. So, you know, if you do send some in, do think about that, of what you'd like to see me casting in the future. So other than that, I've been your boy Logic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all very, very soon.